Hello and good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are around the world, and a huge welcome to the second Postgrad Insight session of the week, following on from the very successful and popular Aberdeen session that has just taken place. I'm joined today by Emma and Cecilia, who are both members of staff at University of Swansea. Today we're going to be focusing on health, life sciences and medicine. They're going to talk you through everything there is to need to know about Swansea University. Before we hand over, just a reminder that today's session is a on-demand free webinar. So if you have any questions and you watch it in the future, please email myself, Gareth at postgradsolutions.com. If you are watching live and you've got any questions or concerns, there will be a Q&A at the end of the session. So please put your questions in the Q&A or the chat facility at the top or bottom of your screen, depending on the device you're using. So without wasting too much more time, Emma, Cecilia, over to you, and we'll see you again for the Q&A at the end.
Thank you, Gareth. Thank you for that kind introduction. So thank you, everybody, for joining us. So my name is Emma Turner. I am the UK Student Recruitment Manager here at Swansea University, and I'm joined today by my colleague Cecilia Wu. Cecilia is our International Student Recruitment Manager. So hopefully we're here today to answer any specific questions you've got with regards to studying with us here at Swansea within the field of medicine, health and life science. So we're going to start off by doing a very short introduction to Swansea, the wider Swansea, and also the university itself. We're then going to give you some information specifically about the faculty that we're working within health, medicine, life science. We're going to touch on some of the popular courses that we have with us here at Swansea, and then also some of the scholarships. So we'll highlight some scholarship opportunities and also how you can apply. And then, as Gareth mentioned at the end, we will have time for questions. So without further ado, for those of you that don't know where Swansea is, we are in beautiful south west Wales. We're the second largest city in Wales, with a population of around just over 250,000 people. We are really fortunate within our university. We have two beautiful seaside campuses. And ourselves with our faculty are based on our Singleton campus. We're just on the edge of the Gower Peninsula, which is the UK's first area of outstanding natural beauty. We're also really well linked to public transport. So with a train, for instance, from London, you can get to Swansea in less than 3 hours. And by car from Cardiff, we're about an hour away, just down the M4. So well linked, but also in a beautiful part of the UK. So the university itself was founded in 1920. So a few years ago, we had our 100th year celebration. As I mentioned, we've got two campuses. So these are those you can see on screen, both situated right on the beach. So on a glorious summer's day, we find our students will be coming out of lectures and enjoying their lunch breaks and after lectures on the beach. We're about 1 mile from the city centre, from Swansea itself. And we've got over 20,000 students across both our undergraduate and our postgraduate courses. And of them, it's about 3,500 international students. We've got over 3,000 members of staff and from all over the world, from over 130 different countries, teaching our students here in Swansea. So the city itself, these are some of the statements that we've had recently. So most welcoming, friendly and trustworthy city in the UK was stated in the Daily Telegraph. We're also UK's top 6 safest city, and that was in the Complete University Guide back in 2020. And on totalmoney.com, we were UK's top 10 most affordable university towns. So we know, obviously, for a lot of our students, the cost of living crisis is a bit of a concern to students that are coming with us in Swansea. But I'm pleased to say that if you were a student here, it is a very affordable city and a university to live at. We've had a lot of investment lately within Swansea, so £500 million worth of redevelopment. So there's always something happening here at Swansea as you drive into the city centre. We've got an award-winning maritime quarter, with lots of bars, restaurants, and lots of office accommodation as well. And we are home to the Swansea.com Stadium, which is where Swansea City play out of, and also also the Ospreys as well. So if you're into your sport, we've got a really good, vibrant stadium here at Swansea with lots of live music events that happen as well throughout the year. So the faculty itself, so the department that myself and my colleague Cecilia work at, so this is the Faculty of Medicine, Health and Life Science. So the faculty's it's got global reach with a lot of impact as well. So we're made up of 3 schools. So we have the medical school, we have the health and social care school, and then also the School of Psychology. And our courses at both undergraduate and postgraduate level sit within those 3 different schools. So the disciplines include public and allied health. We also do nursing, social care, psychology, medicine, pharmacy, and a number of life science programs as well, some of which we'll touch on now in today's session. And I'm pleased to say that a lot of our courses are also accredited by professional bodies as well. These on screen, so I won't go into everyone in detail. So these are just some of the latest rankings that we've had. So obviously we're going to tell you how wonderful Swansea is to study at, but I'm also pleased to say that we're ranked really highly in a number of the league tables as well, at both UK and also international level as well. So as you can see, there's a number of them on screen. In the recent, or the later, sorry, I should say, ref. We scored really well, 100% for outstanding impact, and also 100% for our international excellent research as well. And then as you can see, we're ranked high in the Complete University Guide, the Guardian, and also the World University Rankings, the QS rankings as well. Oh, apologies, my screen seems to have jumped back. Okay, and then just on screen here is a number of, as you can see, a lot of organisations, both international, corporate and government collaborations that we have here in Swansea. So collaboration is at the heart of what we do in Swansea, both within our teaching, but also within our research. So we're linked with a number of organisations, all of which you can see on the slide here, a lot of which that are internationally recognised, which is great for our students, because a lot of these organisations will also offer things like summer placements and year abroad, for example, and a lot of our postgraduate courses, particularly within research, they'll link with some of these organisations when they're doing their projects. So with regards to the faculty itself and the facilities that we have, we're really well placed. So where myself and my colleague Cecilia are today, we're on the Singleton campus, and just behind us, which unfortunately you can't see behind us, is one of the large hospitals within this part of Wales, which is Singleton Teaching Hospital. So we have really close partnerships with our local health boards within the faculty. So we have teaching space there as well as research space. And just up the road as well is we have an education centre at Morrison Hospital, which is a centre for excellence in a number of different areas. Just on screen are some of the images of the teaching facilities that we have here in Swansea, our anatomy suite, as well as some of our research-based teaching facilities as well on this campus. So if you did become a student here at Swansea, you'll be well placed with the facilities that we do have, and a lot of our students are surprised when they see the facilities that we do have once they do come and visit us. We're also about to launch, so next month, in a few weeks' time, we're going to be launching our new simulation-based learning centre here at Swansea. So it's a state-of-the-art simulation education facility, which has had multi-million-pound investment. On our Singleton campus here, this is what you can see on screen here. So it's a dedicated centre that our students will have access to for simulated teaching. So this is something we're really excited about, and our students will have access to this at both undergraduate and postgraduate level. Some more images that you can see here. So it's an immersive simulation centre. We've got 8 immersive simulation suites, and basically they can each be adapted to a wide range of different healthcare settings. So for example, students on our graduate entry medicine course could be using this to simulate a surgery type setting. And basically the walls that are all screens, they can project a number of different settings settings onto the walls. They can even pump in different sounds and smells as well. So it really gives our students that experience of being in a clinical setting without actually, being in a safe environment, basically, to learn through their studies. So this is something that we'll be launching this September for students who will be joining us this year. Okay, so medicine. Hand over to Cecilia.
Yeah, so we'll first talk about a couple of our clinical courses in case you're interested in those. So the first one is our graduate entry medicine program. So at Swansea, we offer medicine, an alternative route into medicine. So we offer it at a graduate level, where we think if you're interested in medicine and if you've already got a degree, then you might want to consider this. And if you haven't already got a degree, then we've got a number of undergraduate medical sciences degrees that you could opt for, which will give you the opportunity to secure a guaranteed interview. So for those of you that are ready to look at medicine this year and have graduated already, you need to have at least a 2-1 equivalent of a UK 2-1 degree. You need to also have taken the GAMSAT exam. So if you haven't already taken the GAMSAT exam, I believe the last sitting is in August, then you'll be looking at the next intake now. And for application to go through UCAS, the UCAS application system, with an application deadline of the 15th of October. So this is our flagship graduate entry medicine program. So you have to have a first degree. It's an accelerator program, so it's only 4 years duration, so much shorter than the undergraduate medical degree. And it's split into phase 1 and phase 2 over the 4 years with a spiral curriculum. So everything that you learn, we're done by case-based learning. So everything that you learn, you revisit at a more advanced year to make sure that you actually learn everything around that case. And you have very early clinical exposure, so you wouldn't be spending the first couple of years potentially doing just theoretical studies. You go into clinical placement within maybe the first month of starting the course. And there's 3 key modules looking at different areas. So you've got scholar and scientists, so they'll be learning about the biomedical science knowledge. You've got to learn on how to be a practitioner, so learning your clinical skills, and then also your professional skills and within the course. And they will then repeat throughout the 4 years. And in the final year, it's mostly going to be clinical placement. You'll have the opportunity to go on an elective as well, and you can even do that anywhere around the world as long as it meet the health and safety assessment within the faculty. So that's one for you to consider then if you're interested in medicine, and the application deadline through UCAS will be the 15th of October.
Okay, and on screen here, as Cecilia just mentioned, these are the assessment, the criteria that we look at for graduate entry medicine. So as she mentioned, you need to have sat the GAMSAT, have at least a 2-1 in your first degree or a 2-2 with a master's, and also have that GCSE English and Maths grade C or grade 4 or above. And then once you get to interview, obviously we do, the selection is based on a number of non-academic criteria. So you're scored basically on a number of different criteria. So communication skills, passion and resilience for medicine, problem solving skills, ability to cope with pressure of a career in medicine, personal integrity and insight, and then also we look at the references as well. So once you get to interview, basically it's all based on how you perform at interview, and then you're scored through a various means of a written test, and 2 interviews as well. So that's graduate entry medicine in a nutshell. We also have a program which is Physician's Associate, and this is a 2-year master's degree here in Swansea. I'm pleased to say it's a fully funded program. So for those students who want to commit to working in Wales for up to 2 years after they graduate, then you would be eligible for funding for this program, Physician's Associate. Some of you might not have heard of a Physician Associate, or PA in short, within the health setting, but basically you'll be working as part of a multidisciplinary healthcare team. And we have PAs in our hospitals, but also in our GP surgeries as well. As I mentioned, it's an integrated 2-year master's, and it is a full-time course. You'll have an opportunity to work effectively with patients, and that's also something that it comes in within the programme. But do need to stress, you'll need to pass all your assessments to be eligible to progress from year 1 into year 2. And then at the end of the 2-year programme, there is a PA national examination as well that you'll need to sit. Eligibility for this program is a 2-2 degree or above in a healthcare or biosciences subject, okay? And also, just like our graduate entry medicine program, you need to have at least a grade C or a 4 in GCSE mathematics and English or Welsh. So that's our physician associate program, and it's something that we've done here in Swansea for a number of years now, and it's becoming more and more popular. It's definitely a profession that is really well thought of now. It started in the US, and it's something that's now within our health boards all across Wales and the rest of the UK. So you might ask yourself, why study at postgraduate level? And if you've been joining the series throughout the week, I'm sure a lot of our colleagues from other universities have touched on this as well. But it really does increase your earning potential for those students after they've done an undergraduate degree. It also gives you a career advancement, and also it really does nail and increase that specialist knowledge in the area that you're looking to study. It gives you that flexibility and the lifelong learning element that comes with it as well. And it also really does enhance your network in the field that you're interested in. And as we mentioned previously, it does add to your personal development as well. So we've got lots of opportunities both for graduate entry medicine, also for physician's associate, but a number of other courses as well. My colleague Cecilia is now going to briefly touch on.
Okay, so we're moving on to some of our top postgraduate taught courses now. For some of these, we have 2 entry points for some of these courses. So the ones that are highlighted in green is available both for September and January. Now, the things to highlight is if you're applying as a UK student, application is still open for September. But if you're applying as an international student now, application for September is now closed. So you'll be looking at the next entry for January. And this is mainly around the time left now for you to prepare to study in the UK. So this is the reason why we've got an earlier closing date for international students. We've got 3 key areas that we offer master's courses in. Here's a list of all of them, and we'll go through some of them in brief details. But I think if you've got any questions following today's webinar, come back to us, and we'll be able to answer any questions before you make an application to make sure that it's the right course for you. We've got a number of courses in the health area, and that's increasingly become a little bit more popular now in recent times since COVID, understanding different aspects of health. We've got the School of Psychology offer a number of different psychology courses as well listed on there. The key one that's the most popular for us is around clinical psychology and mental health, because it gives a good foundation into further studies, for example, clinical psychology. So a master's degree is critical for undergraduate psychology students to do that. And then we've got a range of medical sciences degrees as well in different areas, and a number of distance learning courses for those that are working professionals.
And what we'll do is we'll touch on a number of these very briefly now.
Yeah, so our medical neuroscience program is new for September 2023. So you'll be joining an exciting program that is starting in about a month's time. So this one is the science around how the human brain and the nervous system works. So understanding behavior and also understanding when things goes wrong as well. So having an understanding of how to deal with those, what happens when things goes wrong with your neurosystem and your behavior. So this is a neuroscience related degree, but designed for students with a background in medical sciences related area. And it's also then we're looking at evidence-based approaches in learning and teaching. Our program director is an expert in neuroscience as well. So you'll be taught by the best person there. So this is a new program that's designed, but it's a neuroscience degree that is designed for students with a background in medical sciences. And then I wanted to touch on our cognitive neuroscience program as well. Is a sister program, but this one is predominantly designed for those with a psychology background. So this is more looking at cognitive neuroscience, so understanding the principles of neuroimaging and looking at hands-on experience with structural and functional magnetic resonance imaging, so MRI facilities, EEG, and also these TDCS. So we're looking at the physical brain, looking at how how the brain works, but in a psychology aspect. So looking at cognition and behavior, and looking at things such as your memory, your attention, your recognition of objects, your any neurodegeneration, and also any brain trauma. So it's a slightly different aspect of neuroscience. So tends to be, if you have studied either a neuroscience degree, so something very closely related to this topic, or that, you know, you need to have a background in psychology.
Okay, and then we have our biomedical science program. So we currently have two in existence at the moment. So we have our clinical biochemistry and our clinical microbiology. So these are two different separate master programs, again, 2-year programs. These, I'm pleased to say, are they've been informed, the curriculum's been informed by the IBMS accreditation criteria, and it's also relevant for those students that have done medical science programs. So for those that have studied and are really thinking of becoming a biomedical scientist, these programs will be well suited to you. And we advise students that when choosing between the two, to have a look at the modules on our course pages. So all of the courses we're discussing today have a dedicated course page on the swansea.ac.uk website, and in each of those course pages you can click on the modules, and it goes into a lot of detail about exactly what you would cover in each of those degrees. Also on screen here we've got some of the examples of the career opportunities that our students go on to, having studied these master programs. So basically, it gives students highly skilled in employment or gain access into to the professions. So a really good opportunity for those students that have been studying biomedical sciences and want to take that further at a postgraduate level. Our entry requirements for this course is a 2-2 degree in a relevant subject, and those relevant subjects we have on screen there, such as biochemistry, genetics, for example, or medical sciences as well. And then we have our Nano Medicine program. So again, equivalent to a UK degree of a 2-2 or all above, in a very similar field as biomedical science, as we touched on. But our 2-year program in Nano Medicine is study of nanotechnology, basically, in a healthcare and a life science setting. So you'd be working with really nanoscale particles. So it always blows my mind when we go around the Centre of Nanotechnology that we have here in Swansea, where they explain the real small scale of which they're working on within that Centre of Excellence. But basically this degree will get application of biotechnology and advanced engineering into medicine. So it's really for those students that want to work within the medical field, but from an engineering perspective, basically. So really making a difference in things like treatments within that nanoscale. And again, on screen here, we've got some examples of what our students have gone on to do. So some of our students within industry have gone to biopharmaceuticals industry. Some have gone into the food sector, so food science, engineering. Some students have gone on to further academia, so PhD, and then we do have a number of students that have done this masters in nano medicine and then progressed on to graduate entry medicine. So they've used this masters as an opportunity to get the knowledge that they need to progress on to still becoming a doctor at graduate entry medicine. You want to touch on genomics?
Yeah, so MSc Genomic Medicine is another one of our medical sciences courses. So genomics is an increasingly important area in healthcare as well. So looking at how we are all slightly different because of our DNA, our genetics, etc. So this particular course then will look at there's some laboratory training, so practical element to look at how to analyze samples and things like that, and looking at disease detection and things like cancer, diabetes, and being able to perform genomic testing and things like that as well. So the course is based on the Health Education England and the NHS England and Genomics England curriculum. So the course has been developed, informed by the curriculum, and it's designed really for those that are looking to work in clinical settings. So it's to understand human genetics and genomics, how to analyze those, how to do early disease detection and things like that. And on this program, then there'll be a practical element and also guest lectures by some of our professionals and practitioners who are currently working in the industry. So examples of career, for example, then students have gone on to graduate entry medicine. They've also gone into a role as a clinical scientist training program. Others have gone on to research, because we've also got quite a prominent research field in genomics area within the faculty. So you could go into academia, you can go into PhD, you could also go into medical and scientific writing. Generally speaking, you need to have done a degree with a bit of lab basic foundation. So you're looking at things like biochemistry, genetics, pharmacology, pharmacy, biosciences, and nursing is a potential, because you'll also be dealing with patients.
Okay, yeah.
So diabetes practice, this is one of our distance learning programs. So you'll be able to, so it's designed for those that are working full-time, who's looking to upskill their knowledge in diabetes. So normally you may be dealing with patients, and as we know around the world, then there's an increased number of people that are affected by diabetes as an illness, as a disease anyway. So it's understanding how to manage the disease, how to treat the disease, and also looking at behavior. So there's a lot of technology as well to manage diabetes as well. So it's learning about all aspects of diabetes to make sure that actually there's the patients, you can assist the patients to maintain quality of life. So this is a part-time program. It's flexible, so that means that you can stay working full-time, but then you'll be looking at a distance learning model to do this program. There's normally at the start of the program a short period of residential element as well, that you're required to come over to Swansea to start the course, and that's for you to, it's an opportunity for you to meet your lecturers face-to-face, and also your course mate face-to-face, so that you can continue to interact online then after the residential element. Normally you'll be working as a healthcare professional as well, as I mentioned, because there may be an element of your role that requires you to deal with diabetes patients, or that you're aspiring to deal with diabetes patients as well. So it'll give you the knowledge to be able to manage that. So typically our students are coming at a part-time, because they'll be working full-time in their role. You're looking at, we need a UK 2-1 or equivalent. So normally in a healthcare professional background. And then we've got our second distance learning program, which is our MSc in Medical Education. This program is designed for those who has an interest in clinical education, or that there is a requirement in their role to teach clinically. So the background could be any sort of healthcare professionals with a UK 2-2 equivalent. Again, normally there will be a residential element at the beginning of the course, where you come and meet your teaching team and also your course mates, and then after that, then you'll be a blended learning. So you'll be attending classes by distance learning module. So it'll be ideal for anyone who's either looking to teach in their role, have a responsibility to teach, so understanding about education theory, how to learn, what's the difference between clinical teaching and also theoretical teaching, and also having to mentor students or in clinical related disciplines. And then we've got a number of our health courses that's become a bit more popular recently. So healthcare management, this is a full-time taught program, so it's not available as a distance learning program. So this is a course that's designed for those that are already working as a healthcare professional, but you're looking to upskill in your area of work. So it might be that you're aspiring to the next stage of your career, so learning the skills and knowledge within management and leadership, so theories around that, and being able to apply that in a business and management training. So really designed for those that have mostly done clinical work all their life, but they're now starting to lead a team, to think about the bigger picture, and that's not necessarily something that they may have done in their clinical career. So having those management and leadership knowledge then to be able to take their career to the next stage. So suitable for a range of different healthcare professionals, and actually you'll be learning around sort of leadership and management, resource management, and those type of areas as well. And then we've got our public health and health promotion program. So this is more about, so the program's mapped to the national occupational standards. So this is around promotion of public health, understanding the social economical context, and also having potentially worked in projects to promote public health as well. So we've got strong links with professional practice and academic research networks in Europe and around the world. So all of your learning will be informed by the latest policies and practice development. This is suitable for allied health professionals, for healthcare professionals, but also suitable for those who may have worked as a project manager or have led a project before, and understanding the process of how to do that, and also then being able to take into consideration the social and economic and the policies factors. And then we've got healthcare management. So it's another area, another arm of our health master's program. So this is the fastest growing field in healthcare. So looking at engineering the information for healthcare systems by looking at managing patient data. So at Swansea, we've got our Health Data Science Centre where we house anonymized patient data, and by undertaking this course then you have access, and it's a high security building, but you have access to some of these data to be able to inform your studies. So you're looking at there's quite a bit of practical and analytical skills, but for this particular course then you won't need to previously have programming knowledge, because you're looking at how to interpret and engineer the data, but not setting up the data system. And I mentioned that because we've also got an MSc in Health Data Science Health Data Science program. Now, this particular course, you do require previous programming knowledge, because you're looking at how to set up the data to be used adequately for to answer a question or to deal with an area of research. So aside from healthcare professionals for this particular area, then we're also looking at those with a background in maths, in engineering, in computer science, for example. You'll be suited for that. So it's training to be a health data scientist. The way that I look at it in layman's term is that health data science, you're looking at the back end of how to set up the data to be used at the front. And then as a health informatics, you're using the data at the front end of the system. But both of these courses are around making our data available electronically, to make sure that they're a bit more longevity with the data, and also more accuracy for the data to be held in and is more secured as well.
Okay, and then so we have other programs as well. So I know there's a lot of information we're sharing with you today. So we're really just touching on the surface. And as we mentioned, we'll take questions at the end, but also really strongly advise you to have a look at the course page of any of the courses we're talking about today that you're really interested in. And because we do have some of our courses available as well within the psychology field, so coming from that school as well. So we do an MSc in clinical psychology and mental health. So this is one of our very popular courses, particularly for those students that have studied an undergraduate degree within psychology. So this course in particular, it equips our students with a high level of understanding of the theory, but also the practice of clinical psychology within that healthcare setting. And it really does prepare those students for professional clinical training at a doctorate level. So we do have, so within this program, you'll have access to a lot of our state-of-the-art facilities. And I'm pleased to say that we've literally just opened a brand new research facility as well within our field of psychology here at Swansea. So you really will be submerged and have access to the state-of-the-art lab. For instance, we've got a baby room and a simulated, as we mentioned, the centre earlier, but also lots of facilities that our students within this field have access to. So many of the tutors for these programs are leaders in different fields within the research as well. And basically the type of topics you'd be covering, the core topics topics in particular for this course are things like eating disorders, sexual offerings, so neurophysiology as well, alongside lots of other different opportunities. So this program, you need to have at least a 2-1 in your first degree, but it also has some further steps with this application as well. So you need to prepare a research abstract, and that's something that you would need to provide at the point of application. And again, on the course page for this course, we go into a lot more detail about what that needs to include. It's basically to ensure that the right students are getting onto this program, and we would get that from your personal statement, but also from the research abstract you provide as well. We also have a course in MSc research methods as well in psychology. And again, this is for students that have studied undergraduate within a field of psychology, but also maybe within the field of medicine or biology as well. So students that come onto this course will use a range of research tools, basically. So such as databases, they look at software, computer programs, and develop extensive practical research skills. Basically, it could be also an alternative for those students that don't quite meet the entry requirements. For some of our other master programs, we do have students that will come on and do research methods with us before maybe progressing on to something else as well. But as part of this master's, you would undertake an independent research project proposal, and basically you'll be required to design, execute, analyse and report a research project of your own choosing, basically. So this is something you can really tailor to your interests, and you'd have a supervisor then that would help support you with that project. Okay, and then we do, so that's just touching on some of our taught master's programs. We would need to have probably about 2 hours if we went into one in into a lot of detail and know all of them. So if we haven't talked about specifically any of the research, any of the taught programs you're interested in from that first slide that we had with them listed, then please get in touch with us, or we can answer some questions at the end. But also our website is a really good source of information where you'll get all the key kind of information about entry requirements and how you apply as well. But we do have a number of postgraduate research programs in Swansea as well. And on screen here is an example of those areas of research that we take students on for PhDs with us in Swansea, and as we said, many more. It is a growing list. Basically, how this works is that if you need to have an interest in what you want to study at your PhD level, and then you need to contact us and we need to find a suitable supervisor for you within that field of area. So we've popped the website address on the bottom there, so that will give you some good information as to the types of research that we do here at Swansea, and you'd need to link your area of interest for your PhD with the research so we can assign a tutor for you. We also have some taught master scholarships that we wanted to highlight. So again, you can find these on the website. The latest ones are listed. But in particular, we wanted to highlight one which might be most relevant to you joining us today, and that is our STEM scholarship. So basically, our STEM scholarship, so this is provided to us via the Welsh Government, and it's a bursary which is worth around £2,000 to our students. In order to be eligible for this, you have to be studying one of our what's known as our STEM courses. So there's a long list on the website of those courses that are eligible for these programs, and you also have to be a Welsh domicile student. Okay, so it's only available to those students that are Welsh domicile, and you have to be studying a full-time or a part-time STEM project. There are no limits to age for this scholarship you have to have. You just need to be Welsh domiciled and studying one of our STEM courses. There's not a separate application process for these. Just if you meet those criteria, you're automatically given those scholarships on a first come, first served basis. But I'm pleased to say we do still have a small number of STEM bursaries available for this September if you apply quite quickly. That £2,000 obviously is really attractive for our students. So how do you apply? So you apply direct on our website. So if you go to swansea.ac.uk uk.ac.uk/apply online, you'll be able to put in an application direct to us. As my colleague mentioned, we're only currently open for this September now for UK applicants. We've already closed for this September for international students, but we do have those number of courses that will have a January entry. So if you are watching and you're an international student, then you have till the 31st of October to apply to be considered for January, our next intake, which is January entry. But UK students can continue to apply now for September. International students, your next entry point would be January now, 2024. And I've just popped up so this is our email address that will come to myself and my colleague Cecilia. So the email address to use is studyfmhls@swansea.ac.uk. We'd be more than happy to take questions now today, or also following, if you're watching this back on record, as Gareth mentioned, and you have specific questions about any of the courses that we offer here in Swansea, then please do drop us an email and we'll get back in touch with you as soon as we can. And I should have mentioned earlier, and I've forgotten to put the slide in, is about our next open day. So if you are interested within the areas we've talked about today within health, life science and medicine, our next open day is Saturday the 16th of September, and we'd love to welcome you down to Swansea to our campus to have a look around. So please get in touch with us, we can send you some more information.
Emma, Cecilia, thank you, and breathe. It's a lot of information there in 45 minutes. It's great, wonderful. It's what we want. And I don't think I've ever seen so many abbreviations within one presentation. So well done on getting 99% of them correct and not messing up on any of them. So look, I want to start with a couple of questions. I've got a few questions actually, and a few things that I think is important that we touch upon. I want to begin with why Swansea? I know beginning of the presentation you mentioned, a few things: affordable, one of the top 6 safest places to live in the UK, I think you mentioned. But what makes it such an accessible place as well? Because, although Cardiff International's classed as Cardiff International, it's actually this side of Swansea, I believe, and Cardiff, I believe, so it's not too far away. Does that help international students? And what do you guys do in order to help students when they arrive? Maybe there's a language barrier, maybe there's a confidence barrier. What kind of aid do you help with that?
Yeah, I'm not from Swansea originally, so I'm actually originally from London, but I think Swansea's like a hidden gem that people don't really know about. So you kind of get the best of both worlds. We went through a little bit about the presentation. You've got a city, you've got a medium-sized city, you can get everything that you need here, but you've also got the scenic part, which you don't really get in any other parts of the world. So as a place to live in itself, I think Swansea is really nice, and we tend to see a lot of students starting their degree with us, and they just never leave. They love it so much that they're here. They might be staying working in Swansea, they might even be staying working at a university, but I think it's such a nice environment. You can have different parts of your life here that you won't necessarily access if you're living in a city somewhere else. So that's one point. In terms of getting here, Cardiff Airport's our closest airport, but I think we're equally accessible from London as well. So, for example, if you're arriving at Heathrow Airport, you're looking at about 3 hours, 4 hours by coach or by train. So it's not too bad either. And in terms of support, then all of our courses you have for master's courses, you have an academic mentor that will be there to support you if you needed any help and any guidance, or even any support relating to personal issues. We've also got a range of different support mechanisms. So we've got the dedicated international team. If there is any issues around maybe applying for visa, if you need any guidance, we've got qualified visa advisors. We've also got a number of study skills support as well. So we've got a team called the Centre for Academic Success. And as a student at Swansea University, you have free access to all study skills classes. So things including how to do research, how to do referencing, how to do academic writing, for example, and there's many, many more presentation skills. But there's also the opportunity to arrange one-to-one meetings with one of the team there, and they'll be able to give you guidance on maybe a particular piece of work that you're working on, just to make sure that you're working in the right way and that you're writing in the right way and referencing in the right way. Aside from that, we've also got a number of different support services. So we've got the My Uni Hub, we've got student services, and they're there to support you in terms of maybe you're struggling to hand in your work, maybe you're struggling to meet deadline, there might be extenuating circumstances. There's also teams available to support those as well. So I think we are known to be a very supportive university, and I think we're proud of that.
I want to take two things
I would add as well to that, Gareth, was about in order to settle students in, as you mentioned, is the number of student societies that we have here in Swansea as well. So we've got over 120 different student societies that are open to both our international and our home UK students as well. And that can be arranged from all the different sports you can imagine, but also within people's individual hobbies and interests as well. So you can guarantee you're going to find a society that's suited to your interests here within Swansea. And we do encourage our students that if we don't have a society that meets your needs, we also help support and encourage our students to set up new societies as well. And that's a really good way for our students to really do immerse themselves into being a student here in Swansea, and that's strongly encouraged.
Yeah, and I was going to touch upon that as well, because there's not many places I think you can study, forget about the UK, around the world really, where I think you've got the most named beaches in the UK or Europe, maybe something like that, where you've got a crazy amount of beaches. The two campuses you mentioned earlier in your presentation, is it the Swansea Bay campus, and you've got the Singleton campus as well. They're both very accessible to the beach, fantastic locations. I think it's your Swansea Bay one, relatively modern, still quite new. So there's that kind of...
That campus in particular has been open for about 4 or 5 years now. So, and that tends to house our engineering department and also our business management school as well. So we have a lot of accommodation there as well. So although the courses we've talked about today are based on our Singleton campus, and we do that mainly because of the links with the hospital just behind us and how that well suits the facilities. But we do have students that will be studying with us here on the Singleton campus, but they'll commute and they'll live at the Bay as well. And you're right, it is a very modern campus. It reminds me very much of New York with its high tower blocks, and the accommodation is very nice down there. It's all en suite down at the Bay campus as well. So we do have students that might choose to live there and then commute on to Singleton campus, and it can, you could we've got really well accessible bike routes as well, so cycling paths you can get from both campuses, or really well connected buses. We've got a bus that connects the two campuses between here and the city centre as well. There's about 4 or 5 buses every hour that links the two campuses together, so really well connected, and to the city centre train station as well. So for those students, it is, as you said, it's very accessible, but also a nice and modern place to study and live at as well.
Excellent. I want to talk on the research stuff as well. You mentioned the bursary for £2,000 scholarships for the STEM funding as well for those courses. But how important is it for you guys to have those partnerships with the local hospitals? Like you mentioned the Singleton Hospital, that is almost exclusive to yourself to have an aid research for students. How important is that compared to other unis where they don't have those facilities? It's basically on campus, it's on hand. How key is that to a student's development and experience moving forward as well to their careers?
Yeah, definitely, and a lot of our courses are really well linked to the local health boards. A lot of our actual teaching staff are also clinicians. So you'll have some number of our courses, so they're an acting clinician within the health board, and they're also teaching on our programs as well. So that gives our students huge number of benefits. As you said, the link to the hospital is crucial, but also the facilities as well. So we have an education centre in both hospitals. So just behind us, we have a dedicated education centre where our students will have a lot of their teaching, but also the practical skills will be based within the hospital as well. And that's the same up in Morriston Hospital, the large hospital that basically services South West Wales as well. It's got a lot of centre of excellences up there in Morriston, and our students have access, are taught there as well. So it's really important to us. I think in particular for Swansea, we're high ranking in a number of the different fields and areas of the rankings, but we're also relatively a small university as well, and that's got its huge benefits as well, because it's been able to really allow our students to have access to that research and that facilities as well. So it's huge benefits to what we do.
Great stuff. We've had questions coming around funding. I don't want to touch on it too much because I'm sure there's so many different options. We've mentioned the STEM option. We've mentioned various different scholarship options throughout the presentation. But talk to me about how a student would go about applying for those options, and how open you guys are to helping them, because ultimately you want them on the course as much as they want them on the course as well. So how does a student go about applying, and what other help is there if they're not eligible, for instance?
Yeah, I've seen a question about cheapening scholarships. So that's not something that's offered within the university, but I think students can apply for those, and I think there's a big selection process. And within the university for international students, we offer part scholarships. So it's normally a deduction from the tuition fees. So for example, now for students applying for a master's program, for a postgraduate program, and they can apply for the International Excellence Scholarship, which is a deduction, if they're successful, then of a deduction of £4,000 to the tuition fees. There is a pot of money. I think the earlier you apply, the better. And also make sure that you apply within the deadline and complete the application form as fully as possible. For some of the markets, we might have automatic scholarships, so that's yet to be confirmed for the January intake for international students. But get in touch with us, and we'll be able to advise further with regards to what funding opportunities are available within the university for international students.
Excellent.
Yeah, and for UK students as well, Gareth, so as we mentioned, STEM is a particular one which we thought was of interest to the audience today, but there are other scholarships on the website that you can have a look at. So I'd advise students just to go onto the scholarships page on the website, and it's updated daily. So when any scholarship becomes available, we automatically will promote them there on the website. And there's for a lot of those scholarships, you'll be contacted by our admissions team if you meet the criteria. But again, as Cecilia mentioned, the earlier you apply for the courses, the more likelihood you are to be eligible for one of those scholarships as well. For our undergraduate degrees as well, we do have things like excellence and merit scholarships, which are based on students' academic performance. But for our postgraduate students, it is very much having a look at that scholarship webpage and seeing which is the ones that are relevant to you.
Okay, and I'm going to finish on two questions that I think are quite important. I think they go hand in hand ever so slightly. I'm going to start with English language testing. What requirements are there from you guys? Obviously, IELTS standard pretty much tends to be 6.5. You got TOEFL, Pearson's. Do you accept any other providers? And how about, if a student isn't up to that speed at the moment, what help is there for a student to come over still and to gain that vital education?
Yeah, so entry requirements wise, generally IELTS of 6.5 with no less than 6.0 or in all individual components, but we do accept a range of other tests, so TOEFL, Pearson Academic, and there may also be a number of local qualifications that we would accept as equivalent of the IELTS exam as well. So get onto our website and you'll be able to see the list of local qualifications that we would accept and the grades that we would accept in place of an IELTS. There's normally a validity period, but have a look at that. In terms of training, for those that are not quite meeting our requirements, so we have an English training services within the university, English learning training services within the university. So they offer pre-sessional English courses. They offer, so you can do the short term if you, for example, are 0.5 below a particular score, or you can do longer term. So if you think that if your IELTS is currently about 4 and you need to go do a master's, for example, you might need to look at a year-long English program as well. So we offer all of those. Another thing to add is as well, and it's that if you feel that you've met the requirements, but maybe you don't have the evidence to support it, or that they're out of date, all of the Swansea University offer holders are entitled to one Swansea English test for free. So that's to help you to do that. And the second one will cost, but at least if you, let's say, are 0.5 below and you feel that you actually will meet it, you can do an English test for free, and we would consider that equivalent to an IELTS exam.
Fabulous. And one final question as well is, all the facilities we mentioned, the research opportunities, wonderful. But if a student wants to do distance learning, online learning, are there opportunities within the college and department to do that, or is it mainly hands-on, taught face-to-face, or research face-to-face?
Yeah, so our programs are now taught face-to-face, apart from those 2 courses that we mentioned. So we have 2 distant learning program courses, that's medical education and also our diabetes practice. So those 2 programs, they are eligible for distance learning, or they are a distance learning program where you have, as Cecilia touched on, a very short residential at the start of the course where you would come and stay at Swansea to do face-to-face teaching, and then the rest of the course would be delivered online. But for all of our other courses we've touched on today, we are back to face-to-face learning now, and it's really important, I think, for students to experience that and have that knowledge and experience, and as you said, access to the facilities. And for a lot of our courses, you know, they come with practical elements, either in the laboratories or working alongside patients as well. So it is just those 2 courses that we've got that are distance learning. Everything else now is back to face-to-face.
And it's probably worth adding that depending on, for the distance learning courses, depending on what they choose. So a student can either do a PG cert, PG diploma. If they do choose to do the MSc, there is the research project, which is incorporated to the full MSc, in which case then they will have access to, you know, even if they're doing it by distance learning, they'll have access to our research experts within the faculty as well.
That's amazing. Important to point out as well, you know, people have lost 3 to 4 years over COVID. People will want to get out. If you are sitting on the fence, anyone at home watching, you know, stress the facilities that you've not been able to get your hands on over the last 3 to 4 years. There's now opportunities. You know, please, there's still a place for distance learning. There's still a place for online learning. Circumstances dictate. But where you can, if you want to make that difference that you mentioned over the last 3 or 4 years that you did, that's why you're in this field potentially, then, you know, head over and do your taught masters or taught research. Look, Cecilia, Emma, thanks for your time. I don't think we should go any longer. I know we could sit here all day and talk, but I'm conscious of the audience. So look, thanks for your time, and everyone watching as well. Just a reminder as well, anyone that is watching, if there's anyone that's interested in applying for one of our £500 bursaries, anyone studying full-time, part-time or online learning is eligible. That is for January start dates or September this year or next year. So head over to our website and apply for one of those bursaries, completely free. And somebody watching one of the webinars this week will win, guaranteed. But for now, huge thank you to both Emma and Cecilia. Hopefully we'll see the department, if not yourselves, again very soon. But thank you and take care. Bye-bye.